Today we're taking a look at the Polar Pro Power Pole. This is a battery integrated pole for your GoPro camera, and with its 5,200 milliamp hour battery, this thing is unlike anything else currently on the market. So the Power Pole from Polar Pro has a 5,200 milliamp hour battery, which is just over 4 times bigger than the capacity of a standard GoPro battery. So this thing is going to get you a lot more recording time than you normally would be able to get with your GoPro camera, and it does it with a power bank stored inside the handle of the pole. So this is great because if your camera's attached to your pole, your camera's charging. Well, okay, that's not quite the case. There are a couple other things you need to do. So this is the pole right here, and up on the top here, we have the USB ports to plug it into our camera. You'll notice that my camera's frame mounted. Now, this is because in order to use the power pole, I need access to the side USB port. There's 2 options from GoPro to get access to that side USB port. They're the frame mount. You can have the version 1 like I do, or a version 2 frame, or you can use the skeleton housing. So they also make skeleton housings for all the different cameras, and that also works with the, there's access to the side port with one of those. And then you need the USB cable that ships with the power pole. Now, the great thing with this cable is it's 6 inches long, and you can see here, this thing is just tiny. And the reason for that is we need to plug this end into the camera, and then we need to come down and we flip the pole over. And on the back here, there's 2, not 1, but 2 USB ports covered by these little rubber bands. So we'll just grab this one here and we'll slide the rubber band, not really a rubber band, it's like a big rubber protector. We'll slide that down, and then we will plug in our GoPro into the power pole there. So it's plugged in on the bottom. Now, it might seem a little bit weird on the bottom because you can't put the pole down, but if it was on the top, the cable might interfere with the lens of the camera, so it's kind of a nice, good thing that they've got it mounted on the bottom here. And we see the red light on our GoPro come on to tell us that it is indeed charging. And that's basically it. If you want to use this pole all day while skiing, you can just leave your GoPro plugged in just like this, and you will have a charge everywhere you go. Now, the cool thing with this is there's actually 2 USB ports here on the bottom. So if you want to take your cell phone with you when you go skiing, you could, say when you're in for lunch, you could plug your cell phone into this to give it a little bit of juice and keep it charged up that way. And then down here to charge the power pole, right here, there's a little rubber latch that you flip up, and then inside here there's a micro USB port, so you can grab the micro USB cable that shipped with it and plug this into this port here, and then plug this into any USB wall wart or computer to charge it. So with all that out of the way, it's time to discuss the positives and negatives of this pole, and some things to just keep in mind while considering it. One of them is that, well, the concept is great, and that with this pole you could definitely go out and shoot pole mounted all day. With the implementation of having to have the USB port plugged into the side of your camera, and there's no other way around this, but you need this cable plugged in to the side of your camera and to the bottom of the pole all the time, you do end up kind of putting the camera in a little bit more vulnerable place. There's another drawback as well, and that's that the pole itself is not waterproof. So this whole conversation about having to keep the camera outside of its waterproof housing may be kind of unimportant because you couldn't take the pole anywhere where you would need the waterproof housing. So this pole could not go in the water because it's got electronics inside it. Then there's the one last thing, and this was what was kind of most disappointing to me. The pole's a bit heavier, and I could have dealt with that. The connectors on the camera is like one of those things that you could deal with, because what you would do is you would shoot without this plugged in for as long as possible, and then you would plug it in to charge it, and probably after a run or two you'd have enough juice to shoot for a couple more runs with it unplugged again. But it's the fact that the pole comes in right now at 17 inches. So the 17-inch pole collapsed, and it only extends to 30. So it's got 2 extension ports, but it doesn't even double its length. If you compare this to other poles we've looked at, they start off at like 14 inches and they extend up to 30 or 40 inches. So it's a bit disappointing, and I'll show you here. We unscrew both of these. They are nice, heavy-duty metal fittings, metal connectors, but that's the maximum length right there. And I realize it's a little bit off camera, but you can see from the size of these two extension ports, that's all the pull extends. So it is enough to get a full-bodied self-portrait shot, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a short pull, but it just doesn't extend as much as you would expect it to for its size while it's collapsed. If you're used to pulls, or used to GoPro pulls extending kind of 3 times their length when they're got 3 points of adjustment, that's not true here. And that's because down here at the bottom, there's that power bank. So that takes up this bottom portion. Basically, I think it's from here back is taken up by that battery bank. And that means that there's a very small amount of room they actually have to put the collapsing kind of pull part of this pull together. And that's up here. This pull is cool, and we do definitely have a problem with battery life. The fact that you can't shoot a whole day of skiing on a GoPro battery sucks. And this is a really ingenious way of overcoming that problem. The problem is I'm not sure if this is the proper solution, or if something like just a standard GoPro pole that you could get for probably a third of the price of this and still get a really, really high quality GoPro pole, but a third of the price, you can get a 3-way for about half the price of this pole. And then just taking a battery bank with you, so you get a 3-way and it would work underwater, in the water, anywhere you want to go, collapse smaller and extend to just about the same length as this, and be lighter, and be waterproof. And then you could just get a 5,000 milliamp hour or a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, and you could charge your GoPro in your backpack or on the chairlift, or just be really conscious about always charging it whenever it wasn't filming. And then you would have kind of the best of both worlds. Well, you wouldn't be able to film and charge at the same time. You would definitely be able to kind of keep your GoPro charged throughout the day, or maybe just buy a spare battery or something like that. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below, because I'm really curious. This is an amazingly cool concept, and I just don't know if it's executed, or I don't think there's any other way it could be executed. It's executed really, really well. I just don't know if it's a solution to a problem which we do have. I just don't know if this is the right solution. Let me know what you think, and if you guys want to check out this product, it's linked down in the video description. As always, make sure you check out my channel, subscribe, and like the video. Guys, head on over to the GoPro Tips Facebook page, because there's a huge amount of activity going on over there, which doesn't ever make it onto YouTube. If you want the latest updates on what I'm doing, updates during my projects, if you are over there and you follow that page, you have a lot more impact on the kind of videos I make, and I'll often ask people what they want to see when I'm doing a review, so make sure you're over there and following that Facebook page. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.